To scale a business, you need capital. You build a product, gain traction, and eventually hit a ceiling where further growth requires a sudden, massive injection of cash. This diagram illustrates the standard trade-off: capital for equity. You take on a Series A, then a Series B, and slice by slice, your ownership percentage shrinks as external venture firms take their positions on your cap table. Along with those shares go board seats and voting rights. Soon, the decisions driving the company are made by committees focused on short-term exit multiples rather than the long-term utility of the product. The standard equity model forces a trade. You give up control over the direction of the company simply to pay for the operations required to keep it alive. Vector Capital Partners uses a different mechanism to fund scaling: venture debt. Instead of selling off pieces of the company to the highest bidder, debt provides a massive credit facility upfront, leaving your ownership percentage entirely intact. You deploy that capital to build infrastructure and acquire users. Because no new equity is issued, the founding team maintains authority over the board, the product roadmap, and the vision of the platform. Securing this capital without sacrificing ownership serves as the first operational gear of the Sigma flywheel. That secured venture debt doesn't sit idle in a reserve account. It routes directly into the core architecture of Sigma Bank AI. We integrate this multi-million-dollar credit facility straight into the platform's code, creating an automated financial backstop. Users come to the platform to tokenize real-world assets, taking physical properties or commercial invoices and representing their financial value digitally on the blockchain. This flowchart shows the difference in execution. A standard decentralized platform bottlenecks here on the left, stalling the transaction while waiting for external investors to supply funds. On the right, Sigma routes its internal debt facility immediately to fund the tokenized asset. Sigma Bank AI does not wait for investor permission to close a transaction. By utilizing the venture debt backstop, it manufactures its own liquidity on demand. This blueprint maps the full four-step sequence of the machine. It starts right here, with the venture debt acting as the initial capital pool feeding into the system. The central hub, Sigma Bank AI, takes the capital and automatically deploys it to finance those high-yield, tokenized real-world assets. Every time an asset is tokenized or traded, the system requires Alkoins to process the transaction. This makes the token the essential medium for every unit of value moving through the network. Finally, the flow of these debt-to-asset transactions is validated and secured by a network of community-operated nodes. This interlocking architecture ensures that debt securely and automatically finances asset creation without the need for constant external fundraising. We have a community of 1,500 subscribers, but observing the ecosystem isn't enough. Those users must activate and take on an operational role. You make this transition by switching your custodial digital wallet into an active node operator. This means you stop passively holding tokens. Your hardware begins actively processing and validating the debt-to-asset transactions flowing through the Sigma Bank AI marketplace. When 1,500 users lock in and secure the bank's infrastructure together, they stop being an audience and become a sovereign operating network. To scale this network, we use the Proof of POISE tiered incentive system. This requires node operators to bring in qualified leads who actively engage with the application. The primary goal is connecting the platform with a lead who successfully applies for and uses the Vector Capital venture debt facility through our marketplace. This diagram shows how the math scales. When your lead opens a debt facility, you, the referring node operator, earn a 0.5% origination bonus, paid out in Alkoins, calculated from the total size of the facility they secured. Consistent validation and successful referrals also unlock secondary rewards, including a 30-day 2x multiplier on your Alkoin earnings and a founding governor NFT that grants voting power. Because the capital is deployed into assets that generate their own yield, the returns from those assets feed back into the system to cover the cost of the debt facility. This creates a circular flow of capital that can sustain its own growth, owned and secured entirely by its users.